event that took place on the 6th of April 2013 in the UK. So after 10 years of discussion, consultation, and trying to work together with the stakeholders, the secondary legislation for non-current legal deposit have finally become effective in the UK. So for us, it's a significant milestone. So I think I'll just give you a quick overview of what we can collect and what's defined us, or not defined us, UK, and how we're going to do this job. And I'll probably cover the access condition as well. So the non-print legal deposit regulations apply to any digital content, including websites. I will focus on the web publications. What's being defined as working scope by the legislation says if it's made available to the public from a website with a domain name which relates to the UK or a place within the UK. So how we interpret that is that the website which uses a .uk domain name. A second clause about the scope is that a work is in scope if it's made available to the public by a person and any of that person's activity relating to the creation or publication of the work take place in the UK, which is a little bit harder to interpret or automatically determine. So in terms of territoriality, so I think it's quite straightforward for the portion which uses the top level domain name .uk. For everything else, at the moment, I think we're still defining the criteria we're going to use to identify the content and scope. I think it's quite a difficult question because essentially, how long is a piece of string? We have no idea, or no reliable idea, how much content is out there on the web. But for the time being, what we're using is manually checking by curators or people in my team if there's a UK postal address mentioned on the website, for example, in the contact page. And we're doing geo-IP lookup as well. A third criteria is if the UK-ness or the territoriality contact carried through correspondence with the website owners. So the criteria are still being developed. We're still looking for manual and automatic means to determine that. So we intend to do a broad domain crawl once a year. And for those websites containing higher curatorial value, we would like to crawl them more often. So I think there probably will be questions you probably want to know about robots.txt. We'll follow that in principle, but we will choose to ignore if we needed to pick up content which are considered to be essential to replay or display the web page in a coherent and intelligible way. For example, embedded image or CSS style sheet. So what else? We kicked off a broad domain crawl on the 12th of April using 4.5 million seeds. We estimate that this will take about 6 weeks to complete, and we're expecting to collect between 30 and 35 terabytes of data. And is that sort of more or less the estimated amount of data we're pulling? Access is restricted. So for those of you who don't know, there are 6 legal deposit libraries in the UK, including the British Library, the National Library of Scotland, Wales, Trinity College in Northern Ireland, Bodleian, Oxford University, and the Cambridge University Library. So the British Library is doing the crawling activity on behalf of all the legal deposit libraries. So in terms of access, the legislation says the liquid deposit content can be accessed within the reading rooms of the liquid deposit libraries. So not just the British Library, but also in other liquid deposit libraries. Per reading room, there is a single concurrent access requirement. With other words, we are not, two users cannot look at the same page at the same time. If you wondered why, the non-print liquid deposit regulation is an extension of the current Liquid Deposit Act, Liquid Deposit Libraries Act, which probably goes back to 16 something. So I think in the old days, it was fairly difficult to look at a physical copy of a book by two people at the same time. So anyway, so there's also a sunset clause, i.e. in 5 years' time, there will be a review of the legislation. So I guess that's necessary. It's not just specific for this piece of law. I think it's the government which is putting that on all regulators, all the new laws coming into place. I think that's a quick overview. I mean, I'm sure there will be questions, but I'm more than happy to ask you. Thanks.